Hello, hello, hello. I am so glad that you were able to join me because today I just want to hang out and I just want to talk podcasting. If this is your first time here, my name is Eileen Smith and I am someone who loves to talk about digital media that includes live streaming and social media and YouTube. And today we're talking podcasting. And I see my buddy Studio Geek is here. Hello, hello. Just let me know that all systems are go. You can hear me just fine. And I'm using the PRISM app. The PRISM app. Okay, podcast. I see you're throwing up the mic, so evidently you hear me loud and clear. So I just want to do something that I'm going to start doing. You know how a lot of folks like to have a name that they give people? Well, I'm going to give you a little thank you to sound is great. I'm using a Samsung Q2U microphone. They like to give their audience a name. So this is something perfect topic and perfect timing. Hey, Shabby, great to meet you. And if you're not familiar with Studio Geek 32, get familiar with him. And you look beautiful, Eileen. Oh, thank you, dear. That, you must be reading my mind because that's what I'm going to call you guys, beautiful people. So, hello, beautiful people. And the reason why I started using that is if you follow me on Instagram, you might know that every other Saturday I go to the hair salon and I post my hashtag super cute Saturday. As soon as I get out the chair, okay? So you can go and check my highlights if you just want to see a few of them. Happy New Year, Donna, just being real. Hey, girl. So when I leave the salon, I've been going to the same salon for, oh my gosh, it's got to be 15 years. And I was going to the same stylist even before she started her own salon. So, anyway, I just got tired of just saying, bye, everybody, have a good weekend, because I always go on Saturday, right? So, one day it just hit me, and I said, okay, everybody, stay beautiful. And everybody loved it from the stylist to all the patrons there. So I said, you know what? I'll start with, hey, beautiful people. And when I end, hopefully, I'll remember to tell you guys, and I'll tell you all who are here right now. First of all, thank you so much for coming as soon as you got that notification. But stay beautiful. Okay? That's what I want you to do. Yes, I am streaming on my phone. And hey, you look beautiful. Who did your hair? The place where I go is called Hair Studio 712. And it's in Philadelphia, which is where I live. Now, that was yesterday, so this is kind of like a day old, but. And for those of you who don't know, I am in a spare room that previously was filled with just all my, I don't know where else to put this. I'm going to put it in here. But I am converting this room into a home office because I will be uh, doing some part time working from home. So, a couple days a week, I will be working from home. And so I love to live stream. And like I said, that's one of the things that I talk about here. So I'm on desktop and I would pin your comments up on screen, but I'm on mobile today. And what happened to my nothing happened to it. I'm just on my mobile. And I did a video the other day. Oh, thank you so much, Raymond, for the super chat. How sweet of you. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I would pin that comment if I was on my desktop, but I'm on mobile today. And the other day, I did I wish I had some moderators here. I had a video about the funnest apps for the year. But I forgot to mention this amazing app here, which is Prism. So we're not going to talk about Prism first. we're going to talk about if this Prism app works for Android and for iPhone, but we're not going to talk about that. Our topic today is podcasting. We'll get back after, if we have time at the end, we'll talk about this app a little bit more. So, there's a couple of podcasting tools that I want to tell you guys about. I've been podcasting for over a decade. Actually, I started in 2009. And I have seen in the last 2 years, or really ever since around the time when Anchor started getting into podcasting, there's been like this real resurgence of, or should I not, I won't use the word resurgence because it hadn't happened before, but there is a huge influx of apps. There's an app to do this, there's an app to do that. There's an app I talked about on my podcast called Podchaser, where they call themselves the IMDb of podcasting. You can go over there. So if you have a podcast, make sure you go over there. And hey, Gloria Walker, make sure you go over to Podchaser and claim your profile over there. And so there's just, every time I turn around, there's a brand new app. So one of the things that you're almost there, Gloria Walker, I see you are trying to spell my name and you're probably getting autocorrect. But just for the record, it's ILEANE. Don't forget the A. But I know what it is. What app were you talking about yesterday? Oh my gosh. I just signed up for Buzzsprout. Oh, great, Gloria. Okay, but Studio Geek wants to know what app I was talking about yesterday. And honestly, I live streamed yesterday for over an hour. And so there's so many apps I was talking about. I can't even remember them all. Oh, wow. That is a wonderful thing you did there, Donna. Thank you so very much, dear. Oh, love you. All right, so yeah, the iPad. iPhone is the worst when it comes to autocorrect. And, if you turn it off, then it won't autocorrect really silly stuff. But if you keep it on, it autocorrects things that it shouldn't be messing with. Okay. So, one of the things that a lot of podcasters concern themselves about is getting ratings and reviews. And a lot of times that will be a podcaster's call to action. And, when you're doing a podcast, you should think about having a call to action so that people will know, hey, Tube Techie, how are you, Johnny? So that people can give you feedback about your show. You give them places to get in touch with you or where to follow you on social media. However, I think that you should make sure that you're either sprinkling your little calls to action throughout or hold some of them to the end. Because sometimes you listen to a podcast and the person has so many calls to action. It's like you didn't even get to the content yet. Like, I don't even know if I want to follow you. So just be careful of that. And so, ratings and reviews. This has been a hotly debated topic because people will say on their podcast, and I hear it all the time, that it helps us out, give us a rating and review, it helps us get discovered. But honestly, a rating and review in Apple Podcasts does not help anyone get discovered. Unfortunately. Most of the ratings and most of the discovery in Apple Podcasts, and I'm sorry, your comment is so long, Studio Geek, I can't read it because it's white on white for me because I got this white wall here. And most of the ratings go by the number of subscribers, and there's a formula. It's like an algorithm, but it's more of a formula. How many people actually click on that subscribe button over, I want to say a period of, I'll say it's 72 hours, but I might be, maybe a day more or less with that. But that kind of pushes people up to the top of the rankings. However, most of the top shows on Apple Podcasts are hand curated by the folks that work for Apple Podcasts. So, with that said, I'm going to give you a call to action, and it has to do with ratings and reviews, because the good thing about ratings and reviews is that it actually does make the podcaster, first of all, feel good that they're getting this feedback, that someone goes out of their way to leave a rating, okay? And it also is something that, where they can say what they like about the show. Hopefully it's not too many of what they dislike, but even still, feedback, as long as it's honest and fair, it could be a critique. They may say something like, I wish they had better audio quality, or I wish they wouldn't have so many ads in their show, things like that. Hopefully they're not actually critiquing your content, but it can be fair. So, with that, I came across a site, and I believe I heard about this on Pod News. Does it help if you make a YouTube channel for the podcast? Sure. It helps only if you are building up a following. Hey, Dryer Buzz, how you doing, lady? So it helps if you have an audience on YouTube that you can say, hey, go check out my podcast, like I'm about to do. Because the tool that I want to tell you about, and I'm going to use a feature here in this PRISM app, and let's hope it all works well. It's called Rate This Podcast. Rate this podcast. Now, I mentioned earlier about how for somebody to leave you a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts, they have to jump through a bunch of hoops. Well, you can claim a landing page, and you see there, I have mine. It's ratethispodcast.com/The Anchor Show. And it's going to open up in that person's device, whether they are on Android or if they're on desktop or whatever the case may be, and it will give them places where they can add the rating. So you see at the top, it has the podcast. Then next it has Apple Podcasts, and then if someone's on their desktop, it will tell you that it's going to open the we'll call it iTunes for now, or actually it's the Apple Podcast app on your desktop. Okay. Thank you, Donna. She's telling everybody to hit the like. Now you guys listen to Donna. And then also Podchaser, which I told you guys earlier that you should all go and claim your profile on Podchaser. Because Podchaser, so I just gave you two tools, right? Rate my podcast. Go over there and claim your custom URL before somebody else grabs it. So it'll be ratethispodcast.com. You go there. First, you're going to rate my podcast, The Anchor Show. Then you'll see at the bottom, there's a link that says claim your own page on Rate This Podcast. Rate This Podcast. Okay? And so that makes it easy for the person, because if the person's on an Android phone, right, you don't want them to just get the Apple Podcast app. It's going to direct them maybe to Stitcher app. Depends upon the apps that they have on their phone that they're listening to podcasts on already. Okay? Because all podcast listening apps don't take ratings and reviews. Only certain ones do. But this Podchaser, it's generic. It could be somebody on their Android, it could be on the web, on desktop, it could be on their iPhone, because Podchaser is a website where you can go, and I have a profile over there on Podchaser. In fact, I need to talk to them because I actually have two profiles, but that's neither here nor there. So I need reviews on The Anchor Show. The Anchor Show. Neil, hi. I think this is my first time seeing you here. Thank you so much for coming. Hey guys, I always say this is a community here. And so when you see people coming into the chat, go ahead and tap those three dots over on the right hand side. And that top option will be go to channel. Go to each other's channels. Subscribe to each other's channels. This is how we build community, okay? Because you are my beautiful people. All right. So, ratethispodcast.com and also podchaser.com. All right. So, I've got another one for you. And I don't even know how I found this one, guys. Like I said earlier, I heard about Rate This Podcast over on Pod News, which is a flash briefing. Oh, what a lovely warm welcome. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, anytime. So this other tool that I found, I don't even know. I must have been dreaming and it just led me to the tool because I just think about my podcast all the time. So I'm going to use PRISM again to show you another image. Let's hope this works. Aha! This one is called Podbay. And what you're seeing there is a screenshot. You're seeing a screenshot from Podbay. So once you guys leave me ratings and reviews, now I mentioned that I didn't have any on the Anchor Show, but I do have them on the Miss Eileen Speaks podcast, which is really my flagship show that has, been around for years and years. And you see there, this screenshot, I promise you I didn't cut and paste or doctor it up. There's all 5-star reviews. Anybody who's rated my podcast has given it 5 stars and written some of the loveliest, talking about heartwarming reviews for my shows. And it's all been totally organic. And guys, if you want to inspire your favorite podcaster and encourage them to keep podcasting, you definitely want to give them a rating and review. And the reason why I'm introducing you to Podbay is because it's a website where you can go and see the reviews that were left for you, and you'll also be able to, you can see reviews for other shows that you can go over there and look the shows up. And then once you find a show and you're wondering, like, wonder what the reviews on the show were, wonder what people had to say about the show, then you can just search for the show. It'll bring up there and you can listen to the podcast and all that. And then if you want to see the reviews, you just type /reviews at the end of the URL. They don't have a link there yet, but in fact, I mentioned it to James Critlin on Twitter this morning, and he asked them, where should I post the review? You can post the review because I know that you have iPhone and I know that you're on the Mac, so Apple Podcasts. So you can post the review for The Anchor Show. The Anchor Show, I have put so much into The Anchor Show. In fact, even though I say Miss Eileen Speaks is kind of my flagship, I actually have more episodes and I've been more consistent with The Anchor Show because it's easy. It's easier for me to get episodes out there. And it doesn't help that it doesn't hurt that Anchor keeps constantly updating the platform all the time. So that gives me a good reason to keep the show updated, right? Guys, podcasting is so much fun. I'll tell you. One of the things that I love about podcasting, besides the fact that, you're in someone's ears. Like, that's about as close as you can be to someone without being in person with them. Like we love video and you can see, my expressions and my hands moving around. Yeah, you can leave a title and just say, oh, she's amazing, whatever you want to say. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. You just leave an honest review. Question: can you podcast with your cell phone? Absolutely. Excuse me. That's what I do. That's one reason why I'm being more mobile. If Dryer Buzz is still here, Dryer Buzz has inspired me, even though she has an iPad. So that's a little different. But this is one reason why I'm doing more live streams from my mobile device, because I thought, well, hey, everybody's doing it. I want to be hip with the hip crowd. And I always tell you guys that you can do these things from your phone. So why am I always sitting at my desktop? I do have my tools, right? But this tool right here that I'm using today, Prism, I think we can get into that. And I think I have one more. Oh yeah, I have one more podcasting tool I want to tell you about. And I use a site called Kit, where I have all my podcasters' tools, okay? And I'll be sure to leave that link in the description, all right? But pretty much is Eileen.link/kit. But my friend I talked to this morning, all right, I'm going to read this comment. I use Anchor, but I am noticing that I'm getting a lot of noise feedback. How can I conquer that? Okay, I'm going to Rainbow Black trademark. Hi, welcome to the stream. I'm going to address that as soon as I tell you about this last product. And this is actually a product. It's a physical product. My friend Fraser Ramsey. Oh, you just posted a review. Thank you so much, Studio Geek. My friend Fraser Ramsey, he's a podcaster. He lives in Edinburgh, Scotland, and he started doing books, what they call the no content books, where you can use them for journaling and all that. And so he's got one called the Podcast Scheduler. And so it's for scheduling your guests. Hello from London. Okay. It's for scheduling guests and all of that. And so you can make notes of when your guests are going. You may want to make notes about the guest, and you can jot them all down in this. It's like a planner almost, but he's calling it the Podcast Scheduler. So that was the last thing I wanted to tell you about podcasting tools. Okay, so now the question about having noise and static, it probably is related to your setup, your phone. So like I mentioned earlier, I'll show you. I thought ahead this time because I thought that someone might ask me about microphones. The one that I'm on right now is the Samsung Q2U, okay? It's very good at noise reduction. But I have another one that I'm going to show you, and I'm also going to demo how you use it with your phone. Okay? So, this other mic, which I actually love this mic. Haha, delicate situation here because I got the tripod. And see, oops. Oopsie. Y'all almost lost me. Oh, that was fun. All right, so now this one, you can see it better when I take the windscreen off. This one is the At2020 microphone. And this is also a USB. So you want to have a USB microphone if you're going to do it from your phone, okay? Now, you can just use your Apple earbuds. And if Android, I guess they're okay too. How many mics do I have that are USB? I haven't counted lately, but I would say at least 5. But it could be more. I don't have a mixer, so all my mics are USB. Oh, except my lavalier mics. So I got those too. They're not USB. All right, so let me show you how this works. So in order for this USB mic to work, okay, this is the plug that comes with the mic. All right. And at the end of it is a USB connection that you should just connect to your computer, right? But this comes with the iPhones, but you can also buy them on Amazon. And I have all of this stuff is in my podcasting gear kit, okay? So now I have my other iPhone here. So this is what I recommend to do, to use an external microphone. You can totally record your podcast just with the Apple earbuds or just from talking into your phone. You can do it. But I recommend take it up a notch. You can use an XLR mic with an iPhone for podcasts. Is that a question? You can. You maybe you can, but I don't know how to do that one. And this one is so much easier. Just plug it in. The XLR doesn't add anything to the quality. Okay, if you've got a mic that is a USB and has like this Sam's the one I'm talking on right now. It has XLR cables that come with it, but it doesn't add to the quality. In fact, my friends did a test. David Hooper from the Big Podcast, he went on my friend Chris Curran's, the Podcast Engineers podcast, and he did a blind test of microphones, and he compared using the USB versus using the XLR connection, and the USB one sounded better. So XLR is more professional if you're using a mixer. Yes, perfect. But when you're just using your phone, keep it simple and use this USB connection. Now, I'll show you Anchor. Okay. With the Anchor app, I've got tons of tutorials here on YouTube. I've got an entire playlist. So I'm not trying to do an Anchor tutorial. But what I would do, and like I said, I have the mic here, and I would just press on that plus button and then press on that little microphone. I am doing a demo of how to record an episode from your mobile device. Now, keep in mind, I had to move the mic a little bit closer, but of course, I'm just going to delete this one. Yeah, I'll just delete that recording because I forgot. If you got the phone, that's why I don't usually have it in my hand. I would have it on a tripod, but like right now, I have the phone on a microphone stand. So let me show you the one that I'm actually using right now. And I also want to show you, oh, I know what you were talking about now. It's dawning on me, Studio Geek, when you asked me what app was I talking about yesterday. And so I'll tell you because I actually didn't forget to bring the, okay. Oh, wait, let me just do it vertical. And then I can bring it into this PRISM app. TM, it stands for trademark. Interface, does it help with cleaning up the audio? You can use something called Auphonic, and that has noise reduction in it. And you can use Auphonic. It's AUPHONIC. They do have a paid version, but you can use the free one. In fact, I'm using the free one. And it has noise removal. Okay, so let me get this over to my phone. And we'll see if it's smart. Okay, that was kind of freaky because don't ever airdrop while you're in the middle of broadcast. Now let's see if I can bring it in. Okay. Yes, I just discovered Auphonic. Yeah, I've been talking about that tool for years. So let's see if I can bring that photo in. So there is the phone, the mic that I'm talking into, the Samsung Q2U, and it has a different dongle, not the same one that we were talking about before. Okay, hang on. Let's go back. over here. Oh, there you go. I had to get that shut down button. Okay, I'm not going to do that again. Because when I went into airdrop, when I sent it over by airdrop, it just opened up my camera roll, and then I lost the Prism app, and it was there in the background. But I panicked. Were you guys panicking too, or was it just me? Okay, so and right now I can't see any of the past comments. Wait, let me see if I type that on. Okay, there you go. I brought them back. All right, so let's see, make sure I got. There is a thing called an audio interface and a mixer, two different things. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Very true. Uh, Studio Geek knows his stuff about gear and all that because he's also a musician. But, you know, no, we were just smiling, not panicking. Yay, thank you. And Donna says, cool. All right, guys. So, just know. Oh, yes, I forgot the other part that I use for podcasting. I used an app called Backpack Studio. And the reason why I use that, and I could just use Anchor. But I try to be fancy. Because you have to actually buy this app. And it's iPhone only. Okay, it's iPhone only. But I like the fact that I can add, and that's the app that Studio Geek was asking me. What was the app you were talking about yesterday? The Backpack Studio app. And here's the app on my phone. And I talked to them on Twitter, and they know I've done a tutorial for Backpack Studio here on YouTube. So anybody who has an iPhone who's thinking, or if you have Android, then they don't have an Android. So, but they sent me a sticker so that I can put the sticker up on my wall of stickers. I have stickers from like so many different vendors, so I didn't get a chance to put that one up on there yet. But and I have not explored all of the Android apps that you can use. So for you, Donna, I would just use Anchor. Thank you, Studio Geek, because Anchor does have that background music. Because I know, wait, before I say that, disclaimer, don't overdo it with the background music, okay? Background music to set the mood or tone can be beneficial if you've used it sparingly. Nobody wants to listen to an entire podcast with your music in the background. Okay? Even a 5-minute podcast. If you think about it, think about other content that you consume. TV, right? If you're watching a show on TV, wouldn't it drive you crazy if the entire TV show was music in the background? The wording to the sticker was backwards when you showed it. Is there a way to flip that? Yeah, I could flip it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just, it says Backpack Studio. That's all. I can flip it because I can flip this around and hold it in front of me. See? Backpack Studio. Okay? They just sent me their sticker with their logo on it. That's all. It wasn't a big deal. I noticed that it was backwards. And I don't think you can change that in the app. If that's what you were asking, can you change that in the Prism app? As far as I know, you can't. And I'm not going to go messing around. But here's something that you can do. And I just bumped the mic stand. Sorry about that. Here is something that you can do in order to get a little bit more engagement. Y'all want to see my mics? See all my mics here? And, if you guys are really liking this, make sure that you share the love and give this video a like. See, these are all things that are built into Prism Studio. Okay, I did fairly cool and fun things But this next one is going to be a little bit more. No, I want to do another cool one. Yes, because they call me Eileen, the queen of live stream. You know what I'm saying. Wondering if it could be flipped in the app. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I get it now. G Michelle Jr. The word. Okay, yeah, yeah. I don't know that it can be flipped in the app, and I don't see anywhere on here that indicates that it can be flipped. So I'm going to say nah. There is a desktop app. Okay, yes, Studio Geek told us that they have a desktop app, and I actually installed it. No, I downloaded it to my computer, but I didn't install it because I got enough stuff to play with on the desktop. I like playing with this on my phone. So, all right. So, since I did get some super chats earlier, hey, 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 money, money, money. Okay. And y'all need to listen to my podcast. I want you in, I want to be in your ears. Podcasting, how long should it be or up to podcaster? It's really up to your audience. That's like same way with YouTube. How long should a YouTube video be? Now, I could say I'll just stay here until y'all all leave. But then I might have stuff to do. You need a podcast theme song. Oh, I have a live stream theme song. All right, y'all ready for this? Usually it's around 6 a.m. with this song, okay? So that's important to note before I start with my song. Welcome to the morning talk show. Start your day with Miss Eileen. Grab yourself a cup of Java. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. Thank you very much. So I do have a theme song. Oh, got you. They say 30 minutes, but I'm really exploring subjects in depth. Well, who is they? Love it. Thank you. Nice. You're a great song. Thank you. Nice. Who is the they that says 30 minutes? Nice vocals. Thank you. I kept it in my range. Notice I didn't hit any high notes. Just keep it in your range. And as long as you can, you're not tone deaf, pretty much you can sing anything. I never hear it on Twitch. Yeah, I just because it's at the very beginning. It's before everybody shows up. Yeah, and I haven't played it in a while, to be honest with you, but I created it for Twitch because actually I changed the words. It's welcome to the morning talk show. Start your day with Miss Eileen. So glad you joined me here on Twitch. It's a daily live stream, but it's not daily, and we're not on Twitch. So it's grab yourself a cup of Java, sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. I am a group therapist, so can't explore subjects quickly. Still learning. Yeah, but it's your audience. It's up to your audience because once you do have your podcast on Apple Podcasts and some of the others, some of the other apps will give you this information. I think Spotify is going to start giving that information as well. And if you're using Anchor, you want to submit your podcast to Apple Podcasts yourself so you can get these stats. If you let Anchor submit your podcast, then you won't have access to the stats. Well, you can contact them and they can switch it around. It's a hassle. But you will see where your listeners drop off. Honestly, you need to have a large audience because if you don't have a lot of listeners, they don't have enough data because that's what happens with one of my podcasts. Yeah, some topics I won't listen to for an hour. Yeah, and there's some podcasts that I listen to and I love them, but just sometimes it just could be me. It just could be the topic. I'm like, all right, I heard enough. Because I subscribe to probably about 80 to 90 podcasts. So you really got to keep me all the way to the end. You really got to be good. So that doesn't mean I don't love my podcast because I didn't listen to it all the way to the end. I'll tell you one podcast that I listened all the way to the end, except for the disclaimer. There's like a little disclaimer that comes on at the end, and that's Susie Orman show. The Susie Orman. No, I take it back. It's called The Women and Money Podcast, hosted by Susie Orman, and it's for women, but it's also for the men who are smart enough to listen. So it's not just for women, it's for the smart men. Got to look her up. Yeah, because, everybody wants to have money. Everybody needs to know about money. Okay? So, do you think it makes for good practice to write and prepare your podcast or just freestyle? You are asking so many of the typical questions, like frequently asked questions. You know what? I want to recommend to you. I want you to write this down. I'm going to answer your question, though, but I want you to write this down. My friend Dave Jackson, he runs the School of Podcasting, and he has a whole entire set of courses and one-on-one consulting and all that stuff. And here's the link to check out his school, because he has a la carte where you can buy specific lessons, or you can buy his whole course, or you can do one-on-one consulting with him and all that. And I can tell you are very passionate and you want it done the right way. And I'm going to tell you, my friend Dave, hi, my crocheting friend, 24 Karat Media Productions, and Larry Snow is in the house. Dave Jackson, let me go back to that. Still growing strong in 2020. Yes, girl. Yes. And taking my seat now. Hello, beauty bubble. Here's the link for the School of Podcasting. It's Eileen. That's ILEANE.link/SOP. That's for School of Podcasting. Eileen.link/SOP. Do you know what happened to my podcast review? Because I wrote it and now I do not see it. They never show up automatically. Apple is whatever they do. Who knows? Nobody knows the voodoo that Apple Podcast does in the background. But it's not like when you leave a comment on YouTube, it doesn't show up right away. That's typical. So don't worry about it. I love your energy. Thank you for the link. You're welcome. But to answer your question, shucks, I have to try to scroll back and see it again. About writing. It's all individual. Like me, I never write a script. I wrote a script probably back in 2009 when I first started. I tried that script writing thing. And first of all, I lose my place. I lose my place. I start reading. I'm like, oh, where was I? And you sound like you're reading. Now, I have a podcasting friend that I really, really love. In fact, I support her on Patreon. I put my heart and soul in the review. Oh, yeah, I'll let you know when it shows up. Thank you so much for doing that. And her name is Madeline Sklar. I support her on Patreon. And she did a little behind the scenes of recording the podcast just so we could, some perks for patrons, right? And literally, I could see that she had the script that she was reading from. I could tell that by her eye tracking that she was reading from the script. But to listen to her, I would have never known she was reading from the script. I started mine in May and have written some, but only use it as a guide. Well, I just make outline. Like right now, I'll show you my outline for today. And this is the same. I was going to do this as a podcast, in fact. But I was like, no, I want to hang out on YouTube today. This is my outline. It's not a script. And half of the stuff I didn't even talk about. I got some notes on there from, I was talking to Fraser this morning on Facebook. And he told me some things. And I put notes up at the top. That doesn't even have anything to do with what we're talking about today. Maybe talking points or outline. There you go. Exactly, Gloria. Talking points or outlines are good. Because, in fact, I know that there's something that I want to talk about, but I forgot. But since Larry Snow and Beauty Bubble just got here, I just want to do a quick review with my little graphics. I love that I can show graphics on Prism. So the first tool that I introduced everyone to is called ratethispodcast.com. So you go to ratethispodcast.com/the anchor show, and no matter what device you're on, it will automatically open up the correct places for you to leave the rating, whether it be Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, which is the Internet Movie Database of podcasting. And you go over there also to claim your own show, right? Smart link, short link, ratethispodcast.com. So I want y'all, because I know both of you guys have podcasts, and hey, you never know what may inspire someone to start podcasting again if they are on if they pod faded, or if they're just on hiatus, or if they're just waiting for season 2. Love the outline. Simple. Yeah. In fact, I felt like my outline was too simple, and I was going to add another podcasting app to it. But I went over and checked out this app, and I was like, that app is corny. I ain't telling nobody about that. So just so y'all know, I curate. And because we're on YouTube, I'm not going to say what the app was, but I will say what it was claimed that it does. It claims that it will read podcasts out to you. Like, huh? What? Why is that? Like, what? And they sent me an email and asked me, lock in my rate now for an upgrade. What? You got to be kidding me. I just came off a break and I have been podcasting all weekend. Yes. Sounds like you are doing what they call batch recording. Yeah. So, now, when people get started, this is one of the things that Dave Jackson, and since I mentioned him, I'm going to share this tidbit with you. A lot of times people think they have to have so many episodes before they launch their podcast. And truth of the matter is you don't. You really just need a trailer and one episode. You really just need a trailer and your podcast is live. But best feeling in the world. Yeah, because now you can sit back. However, when someone first launches their podcast, one reason why you don't want to put out 10 episodes when you first launch is because if something was wrong with your format, your audio, I don't know, you find out that somebody else always has the same podcast name as yours, and all kinds of things can go wrong. Then you can't correct it. You got 10 episodes out there already. Whereas you could have recorded them all, but then still put one out on one week and put one out on the next week. And then if you get feedback from people saying, because you're going to be asking, you're going to ask, you have friends, even though they might not be your regular podcast listeners, you got your buds, right? Even if it's your offline, in real life friends, IRLs. And you're going to say, can you listen to my podcast and give me some feedback? And then they listen to it and they say, oh, God, you got to get another microphone. You sound like you're in a tunnel. Well, dang, you done recorded 10 episodes. And you could have found that out after the second one or the first one, right? And you could have said, you know what? I'm going to get that. I'm going to go over to Eileen's kit, right? kit.co/Eileen. And that link will be in the description of this video. And you'll see the podcaster's kit with all the gear, like the Samsung Q2U, like this AT2020. This is really my favorite microphone. The only problem with it is it doesn't fit on the stand, and I love the stand. So the Samsung Q2U is my second favorite, and the ATR 2100. Oh, maybe there's a tie for number 2. That's the one I use when I'm at my Mac setup. Okay, and actually, I would use the Samsung Q2U at my Mac, but 2 or 3 times, and if Larry Snow's still here, he might remember. A couple times I was streaming and my mic was crackling the whole time. I was on there for like 20 minutes. And then he came in and said, "What's wrong with your mic?" And I was like, "What?" I was doing it once a week, but it was too much. So I moved it to once a month and now only release one of the 3. Good. Would you like me to post a link to the kit.co? I believe, did I make you a moderator here? If I made you a moderator, then yeah, go ahead and post a link. Sure. kit.co/ILEANE. And then the podcaster's kit is a little bit longer link. Yes. Yeah, sure. You can get the one for the podcasters because I want people to get right into this mic because it's affordable. And I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that one of the reasons why I recommend this mic is because it's only $50. Now, if you're going to record from your phone, you do have to get the camera kit dongle. And that's up, I think it's $12. So, but still, you can be up and running with a good quality mic, and you need a windscreen. I'm going to move the mic a little so you can see it. I think this is $3. You know, you got to make sure the one that you get is the right size. And you can be up and running for under $70. Especially if you got Amazon Prime, you don't have to pay for shipping. Because my links that are in that kit go to Amazon. Okay, just so you guys know, that's the deal. So, all right, so you know about ratethispodcast.com. Who's going to go sign up for it? You got that flash adapter on there for the mic. It's called a camera kit. It's just the name. Okay, it's like this. It's like this one, only it's bigger. This white part in here is bigger. It's like this thick. I can't show you because it's on the... All right. So, but they call it, I guess, back in the day when it first came out, it was used for cameras. But you have signed up now. Okay, for the ratethispodcast.com. Good. Yes, my Yeti microphone, can that work on cell phone for podcasting? If you have the Yeti, I think it can, but you got to test it, especially since you're on Android. I don't want to tell you yes for sure. Now, another mic that you can get. Oh, I think I got it here. It's a lavalier mic. Smartlav Plus. Okay, yes, it's backwards, guys. It's the Rode Smartlav Plus lavalier microphone. Okay, this is another one that I recommend. Hope it's not the empty box. Yeah, it's empty. Wait, no. It's not the empty box. I need to put this in my giveaway box because I'm going to be doing a live in-person event, and I think I'm going to give this mic away at the event here in Philadelphia if anybody wants to know where it is. And this clips onto your lapel, which I dropped a little piece. It's going to be very awkward for me to get it, but I'll try. Try to get it without knocking the iPhone over. Okay, this is important, so I better show you this. Okay, this little piece, let me take it out of the baggie. That's why when Studio Geek asked me earlier how many mics I had. I got mics on mics. I got mics in boxes. I got mics I never even used that are USB. But I'm not going, because I had to leave the room to go get that. It's a little weird when you first get it. I remember when I first got this mic. This is the Rode Smartlav Plus. I said it and I held up the box, but no, you must have been watching TV for a second or over there on Instagram and you didn't see me. Okay, and for those who want to read it without it being backwards, we'll flip things around. The Rode Smartlav Plus. Make sure you get the Plus, and that's going to be in my kit. Okay? So when you first get it, it's a little awkward because you try to figure out, now, how am I supposed to get that microphone on this little thing here? But what you have to do is take off. Take off the hood. You take off the hood. See the hood? This is a brand new mic, but y'all special. What made you start a podcast and what's your favorite topics to discuss? Whew. Boy, you are getting it with the questions today, girl. Guy, girl. That's a girl, right? All right. And then it's a little spring action here. It's a spring. Let me show you. See how that opens up a little bit? Then you slide the mic up in there. Okay. Then you put the hood back on, which I'm not going to do right now. Then you pin it to your lapel, hence the lapel mic. Now that little demo alone is worth a super chat because nobody showed me how to do that when I first started with this mic. And I was like, how? In fact, one time there's a little piece of plastic at the very bottom of this windscreen. And one time I was pulling so hard to get it off, I pulled the windscreen and separated it. Hence the reason why I got another microphone here. Because I screwed up my microphone. And I was like, why didn't they just tell me that? Because Rode doesn't tell you. They figure, oh, you're a podcaster. You can figure it out yourself. Yes, a lady sometimes. I didn't hear you. I was getting the link for you. Oh, okay. Oh, you're so sweet. You just put up with all kinds of stuff from me. Studio Geek, you are the best. Thank you so much, my dear. And I so appreciate you. I really, really do. If I've never said it before, I'm saying it now. Okay, I'm not going to mess with... Yes, I am. Because I can't take that drawer not being closed now. Okay. A drawer full of gear. Whew. And it's a tough drawer to open too. All right, so let me go back and answer that question. What made me start podcasting? Well, my very first introduction to podcasting was totally me geeking out at work because I use Microsoft Excel. Yay, super chats in the house. He ask and you shall receive. Thank you, Tube Techie. And Microsoft Excel. Question. Exploring podcasting is crazy. You accumulate so much gear. Yeah, I'm just a tech nerd. I mean, I got gear from stuff when I used to craft. I still got some of my crafting stuff. Little by little, I give it away. But I haven't crafted in 20 years. I still got some of that craft. I just like stuff. So anyway, Mr. Excel. That was my very first podcast, but it was a video podcast. So when I first started consuming podcasts, they were videos. So after Mr. Excel, he helped me with an Excel problem. In fact, I called in a question, he answered my question, and all that stuff, and I still use this tip to this day. Then after that, I found my yoga podcast and Chaz from Yoga Amazing, another video podcast. And then back in the day, Photoshop, when you used to actually buy the software and install on your computer, it was the Photoshop guys, Scott Kelby, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but Scott Kelby, of course, he's still out there. He's an internationally well-known photographer. And so I thought podcasts were all video podcasts. I didn't know that audio podcasts were a thing. And so I started with my YouTube channel. Back then, they had a site called Blip TV that used to let you put your video podcast on Apple. That's another site that shut down in the middle of the night, okay? Blip. They didn't shut down in the middle of the night. They gave people warning. We're shutting down. But it's like, well, nobody else is doing this for free. Yeah, because it costs a lot of money to host video files. So that's why always be grateful to YouTube, okay? So you can't get free video podcast hosting today. You just can't. That's why YouTube's RSS feed doesn't work on because guess what? People can't figure this out. First of all, most podcasters think that YouTube doesn't have an RSS feed. It does. We all have an RSS feed, but it's not valid for Apple Podcasts. And it's just my theory from somebody who's been doing this for 10 years or more. If you could put all your YouTube content on Apple Podcasts, right? How in the world is YouTube going to make money? Anyone? Anybody got any ideas? How are they going to monetize your content if it's on Apple Podcasts? Duh. and if they can't monetize your content, they can't host your files for free, can they? Hey. They say podcasting is the last platform that remains untouched. Well, yeah, it's being touched all over the place now because everybody's trying to get into monetization of YouTube. Yes, YouTube/Vimeo, they were game changers back then. Yeah. Oh, hey, Eric. Hi, dear. How are you? And didn't Laria do the video podcast? And that was how she got big. Yes, Laria was doing video podcasting, but back then I did not know Leo Laporte when I first got into podcasting. I didn't discover Leo Laporte because Laria was on Leo's show. That's how she first got introduced. And then later on, it's a whole story with Laria, but went back when she was the other personality, Callie Lewis. But when I found out that, and I found out from Ray Ortega from the Podcaster Studio and the Podcasters Roundtable, I found out from him about Blip TV. Oh, what's her name? It's just look for Live Streaming Pros, but her name is Laria Petrucci. But look for Live Streaming Pros. And so when I found out that I could get my videos, because I had already started the YouTube channel, and when I found out I could host them on Blip TV and then put them up on Apple Podcasts, and I found out from Ray Ortega, that's what got me into podcasting. So my original podcast was a video podcast, which was repurposing before that was a thing of my YouTube content. And I wasn't live streaming back then. I didn't start live streaming until 2012. Whew. So, and there was this other really good, in fact, when I was blogging, when I first started blogging, I wrote a funny video, and you can find it here on this channel, with horrible audio, but it's short. I was kind of doing poetry. It was called Ode to My Podcasts. And I talked about those podcasts that that at first got me liking podcasting. So if you ever look up Ode to My Podcasts, and you'll see that was back in 2009 or 2010 maybe, or 2009. It might have been 2010. And I embedded that in a blog post, and I talked about all these podcasts that I just mentioned, in addition to another yoga one that the girl stopped. She doesn't. She's not doing that anymore. Oh, Information Man is here. Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for the super chat. I wish I had some. Oh, I know what I can do. I can put up some funny faces. Yeah, partner. Yeah. What else can I do? Let's do another one that's funny. Yes, and back in the day when I first heard about podcasting, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if Google would just let YouTube distribute all of our videos over there on Apple Podcasts. But then I got an idea. I was like, if I shake and bake me up a video, I can make money over on YouTube. But if I put it up on Apple Podcasts, Apple won't give me nothing. Not nada. Zilch. Nine. Wow, great. That's funny. Good to see you, funny. Yes, the Prism app is super super fun. So thank you for the super chat. So that was to add to your entertainment. I was listening to a Blog Talk Radio. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. First of all, Blog Talk Radio gives me a headache. I was listening to Blog Talk Radio in the day, but I didn't know it was podcast. I was listening to. I was hooked from there. Yeah, Blog Talk Radio. I have a friend who wanted me. In fact, a couple people have wanted me to come on their podcast. If they're on Blog Talk Radio, I'm not doing it. No. Well, here's the deal. This one person that asked me, I was not familiar with her. She actually reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, and she wanted me to come on her podcast. So, well, okay, let me go check the podcast out, because like I said, I don't know her from a can of paint. Let me go listen to the podcast, see what it's like, whatever. It was on Blog Talk Radio. It was so many commercials, and you cannot fast forward past the commercials. Wait, let me say that one more time. You cannot fast forward. You can't rewind. You can't fast forward. You are stuck. They are holding you hostage. I ended up hating Blog Talk Radio, then discovered Apple Podcasts when you had a stroke. Oh my gosh. OMG, just said that. Yes. Oh, sorry. I can't read, the comments are going by too fast, guys. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you got over the stroke. So therefore, I could not. I used to do Blog Talk. Yeah, and in the past, it just seemed like it wasn't as bad. It seemed like now, I'm surprised they're still around. I really am. Not to mention the fact that the audio quality is so horrible because everybody's calling in on the phone, and you can't really. I'm not going to keep going on about Blog Talk Radio, because there's somebody who may be watching this or listening to this who uses Blog Talk Radio, and I don't want to discourage you. Do what works for you, but I just got to say that for me, when I hear Blog Talk Radio, I get a headache. Just like my friend I tell you about, Dave Jackson. When he hears Anchor, he gets a headache. But I still love Dave Jackson, and he still loves me. Well, he knows that I have the Anchor Show. Yes. So, but if you are someone, there is that person right now, and we have 12 people in the chat room right now. That person who is on Blog Talk Radio, we are all praying for you. We are all praying in unison. God, please, please, Father, help them to understand that there is a better way and they do not have to be held hostage. Okay? You can get your message out. Your message is important and it needs to be heard, and there's better ways to do it. Okay? With that, amen. All right. So, so all I can do is pray for somebody who's on Blog Talk Radio. But at the same time, anybody, and I know I'm being funny, but at the same time, I am serious. I am serious because if you've got that message, something that you say can touch somebody's heart, change their lives. And I'm so glad, so thankful that we have YouTube, we have Twitch, we have Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. But God bless the child that's on Blog Talk Radio. Please, please, please. From my mouth to God's ears. That's all I can say. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for praying with me. Because we all want to have an impact. We all want we like to have content. Yes, it's fun. It's fun putting our content out there and all that. But we want to have impact. We want people listening. We want people coming to our live streams. We want people listening to our podcast, leaving us ratings and reviews and all that stuff. Without Anchor, it wouldn't have happened for me. And that's why I love Anchor. Of course, I have Libsyn. I know how to podcast at, I won't say at a high level, but I was podcasting before the ease of use of Anchor. And even Spreaker is easier than, what I did with Libsyn. I was using Audacity and editing out every little and ah and breath and re-recording because I was like, oh, I'm breathing too hard. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I just breathe hard sometimes. Sorry. I ain't editing that stuff out no more. I invested in enough microphones to hopefully, and then yeah, that happens too. Whatever. A Blog Talk probably influenced Anchor, Buzz, Apple. Maybe. Maybe they influence them like this is how we do not want our platform to be. Now, let me tell you about Buzzsprout because I'm glad you brought them up. And I rarely give them a shout out. I did on one video here where I was talking about places where you can get free podcast hosting. But I met the guys from from Buzzsprout at Podcast Movement in 2018, and they were amazing. They were so much fun, and they have a fantastic YouTube channel for those of you who are beginners. They have a YouTube channel that doesn't really push Buzzsprout. It talks about some of these questions that are coming in from Rainbow Black. One thing I don't like is when you record on it and it's difficult to get it off the platform in terms of saving the file. Blog Talk. That's what I mean by them holding hostage. They hold your content hostage. They don't make it easy. So this is one thing that they wanted to say about Anchor, but it's not true. If you ever want to leave Anchor, if you ever want to migrate, you're ready to upgrade to a better host or a host that does something different that Anchor's not doing for you, Anchor will do it. And they've done it, man. And I told you my friend Dave Jackson doesn't like Anchor, but he also works as support at Libsyn, and he has done it. He's had to admit that yes, Anchor will help you if they want you if you want to move away from Anchor and you want to go over to Libsyn or Podbean or Blueberry or Buzzsprout, Anchor will help you with that and put up that 301 redirect. That's techie. Don't worry about it. All it means is that it sends your current subscribers over to your new host. That's all that means. So, and hey, speaking of that, just a kind of off topic, but talking about hosting, I am in the process of migrating my blog, not ILEANESmith.com, the other blog. I'm getting that done right now. It's being migrated to another server, It's the same host, but it's a cheaper server. I like Spreaker because you can go live like a radio show. Yes, and also check out Castbox. Have you checked out Castbox? Now, I would say stick with Spreaker. If you're already on Spreaker, you're already using it, you already like it, stick with Spreaker. But Castbox has an option too that you may want to check out because it's easier for people to call in. With Spreaker, for somebody to call into your show, you kind of got to jump through hoops and use Skype. But on Castbox, the person just needs the Castbox app. And you got the Castbox too. Oh, information, man, I forgot. You already know. You already know. Yes, you have both. Okay, yes. And Castbox makes it so easy. I talked about it in a podcast episode, but and the only reason why I didn't do a YouTube video about Castbox is because I swear I feel like they're getting ready to shut that down any minute. They don't talk about it. They don't promote themselves. The shows that are over there, some of them are like, just people just hanging out. They're not really doing a podcast. They're just people that's just hanging out. I don't know. I don't know why. So if they would put some money behind it and promote it and make it seem like it was really, they were really serious about it, then I would do tutorials and I would be telling people to go over there. I was just telling you because I know you know, hey, because you follow me, so you know, and you knew before you was following me. Wow, dead giveaway. But but with that said, Gloria, I thought it was going to be shut down like months and months ago, but it's still around because I talked about it on the podcast like maybe around March or maybe it was in the summer and it's still there. So I'm like, okay, they didn't shut down yet. And but it's there. So for somebody who I know is a content creator that's in the know, like I wouldn't tell everybody about that who's saying like they're new and all that. I wouldn't mention Castbox, but somebody like Information Man, Clinton, I know he knows he got content all over the place, so I know that it won't be like earth shattering for him if Castbox was to shut down. Every time I'm here, I get to know new apps. Child, I got apps for days. My middle name should be apps. No, it shouldn't. I guess podcasting is still a growing market. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the point of me talking about this today is podcasting is just a huge influx. Everyone is trying to think of a way to make a buck from podcasting. And when I say everyone, I mean these companies that are already have money, that have technology and have developers at their disposal, and they may have been doing one thing and then they say, hey, podcasting is big now, why don't we develop some tools for podcasting? And it's like, okay, like Anchor, for example. They knew that they always wanted to do something with podcasting, but they had a really cool app before they pivoted into podcasting. And you know in their defense, that app was never going to make them any money the way Anchor was before. Just leaving messages was like Twitter for audio. They couldn't make any money off of that because nobody was going to listen to an ad. Like, I'm on here to talk to my friends, and then all of a sudden, here comes an ad. Google seems to be placing podcasting high in SEO too. Yes, Google. Wait, they're paying podcasting a lot of attention, and they have failed a few times at trying to enter the podcasting space, but I think they have the right person at the helm now, which is why Google Podcasts is getting better and better all the time. Just a great idea for a podcast. You just had a great idea. Okay, are you going to keep it a secret, Studio Geek, or are you going to share it? I hate that I can't monetize my podcast on Anchor because I haven't set up the UK podcasters, only US. Well, honestly, when you're just getting started with your podcast and you have a small audience, I would say don't worry about monetizing. I mean, I have some ads on there. You know what I did last week? Not last week. For the last 3 weeks, I went in there and deleted some of those ads, most of them. And on like any new episodes that I put out, I won't have ads on them. You're not making that much money. It's not that big a deal. It was nice the fact that you can do it. Now, once you start building up an audience, because remember in the beginning you don't have an audience yet. You know they don't want to hear your ads. Really, they don't. They're just trying to figure out if they want to listen to you. They don't want to hear you talking about Anchor and or some of the other advertisers they have. Now there was an ad. They did give us an opportunity to do ads for some charitable causes, and I did one for diversity and inclusion. But I actually haven't heard that play on my podcast yet, so I don't know if it's out there. And because you don't get paid for those ads, there's no tracking. They're not letting us know. Like I have no way of knowing if anybody's hearing those. But anyway, your own products, right? It's too early, Rainbow. Use affiliate links instead. That's right. Oh, Gloria, thank you. Because I didn't finish that thought. Yeah, talk about products, and hopefully, no matter what niche you're in, there's a book on Amazon. So get yourself an Amazon affiliate associates account if you don't have one already, but get one and then go ahead and talk about some books or some resources, tools. How do I get affiliate links? Yeah, you have to join an affiliate program. So the Amazon Associates program you can join, and I believe the link would be affiliates.amazon.com, or just go to Google and search for Amazon Associate, because they call it associates, but the link is affiliate. I don't. Just search for Amazon Associates program, okay? And if you have a website or a social media presence, they will accept you. Now, if you don't have either one of those, just build your audience first. Focus on building your content and audience first. Yeah. Oh man, I told you. Didn't I tell y'all Clinton know everything? That's why he's the information man. Yes. Yes, because like I said, when you first get started, you don't want to turn people off. You don't want to turn people off, but like, I'll try to get this person to try. And I know they ain't got no whole bunch of listeners. Here I come, they trying to sell me something, and I just got here. Just think about yourself, your own listening habits, right? If you give somebody a chance and you know that person doesn't have a huge audience, and you give them a chance, and the first thing they do is try to sell you something, you be like, see, that's why you ain't got no audience. Now, YouTube is different because people are accustomed to seeing ads. If they don't have YouTube Premium, and goodness knows, how do you people survive without YouTube Premium? I don't know how y'all do it. I don't like those ads. So I have Premium. That means that those creators whose videos that I watch, they make even more money off of me, okay? Because I'm paying YouTube. They don't have to worry about advertisers. There's no middleman, right? It's going, YouTube is a middleman. I pay YouTube. YouTube gives a cut to the people whose videos I watch, right? But folks that don't have YouTube Premium, they are used to ads on YouTube, and they don't associate the ads with the creators. They know that the ads are coming from YouTube. So that's the other way. You just go ahead and start, building up your YouTube channel. Build up your YouTube channel. Put up some videos. You just never know. You look around and you start getting subscribers on YouTube, and it's also going to help you build your podcast. Information said, cut to the chase TV. Hey, what's up? And I'm listening for game because I have a podcast. Oh, okay, great. So let's just do a little quick recap of the ratethispodcast.com. But remember, Those who were here earlier, I'm going to say it one more time. Ratings and reviews do not get you boosted up in the rankings on Apple Podcasts. However, it's still nice to get ratings and reviews, and it's also nice to get feedback from your audience. So, hang on, my idea is called Apps That You Need, a podcast that I will tell you great apps for Mac, Windows, iPhone, and Samsung, and more. Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And but your twist on that, because there's a lot of podcasts that do that. Your twist on that is because you're young, you can say for students or from a student's perspective. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shows out there to talk about apps and gadgets and all that good stuff, right? So it is definitely a great idea. But you just add in that also people will know that, hey, these are the apps that the kids are using, and everybody wants to know that, right? Everybody wants to know, like, because you guys are out in the forefront. Yes, teens, tweens, and others. Well, he's not a tween, but I'm just saying. All right, so let me just put up for Rate This Podcast. Let me put up my graphic there. And when you send people to this ratethispodcast.com, now for me, it's going to be ratethispodcast.com/The Anchor Show. So you can go over there and give me a rating. But this is one of the tools that I'm recommending for today. And the other tool that I'm recommending is called Podbay. Podbay. It's a way that you can see those ratings that have come in on Apple Podcasts, and you can see them right on a website. So this is a place you can share with others so people can see. Look at all them 5-star ratings that I got for this show. So think about using that as well. And let's see if I can, get that closeout button. Whew, that was a little scary. The wrong screens were popping up. Guys, oh my gosh. Podbay. Yes, Podbay. Go to podbay.com and then no, that was a screenshot from the other day. And that was the other podcast. Come on now. I told you it doesn't show up right away. That was a screenshot. So I will definitely let you know when your review shows up. So everybody thank Studio Geek for doing a review for the Anchor Show, and also for encouraging you guys to go over there and leave a review for the Anchor Show as well. And also go and grab your own. Patricia A. Murray in the house. Hey, Pat. Go over there and grab your own custom URL for your podcast. So it will be ratethispodcast.com/The Information Man Show. But you have to grab it before somebody else does. So go over there and grab your link. Gloria said, pay attention. Guys, this has been so much fun. I had no idea that you guys were going to just hang with me on this little mobile live stream. Is the best podcast I've heard yet of 2020. Yes! It's only day 5, but yes, that still counts. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me. And for those who are watching the replay, you're going to see some other videos here that YouTube recommends and one that I recommend. So with that, guys, I will see you in the next video, and stay beautiful. Bye.